Well, we have another Monday, and I believe this may be the last Monday in June. I'd have to look and see. I don't even know. Maybe not. I think we do have another one. But anyway, hi, everybody. I'm in North Carolina in the United States, East Coast, and it's going to be 97 Fahrenheit today and about as much humidity. So where are you calling in from? So good to see you. Good morning, Christy Williams. I know you're in Florida. It's going to be warm there. And thanks for being the first one here. This is Mind Over Matter Mondays. We meet here every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Good morning to all of you. Stephen Eng, who works in library systems in New York, is our go-to publishing expert, if you will, for all questions about professional publishing and anything that has to do with that. We always go to him first. William Rochelle is here, has several shows about UBU live, has a smooth, velvety voice and fabulous music to either put you to sleep or wake you up and start you thinking. It depends on what you need. If it's late at night, you're going to have, or if it's 10 o'clock and you need to wind down, you can get different kind of music and in context. And we also have the most amazing coach, Carrie Willis, who has an incredible Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, Carrie Connects show. And she always has the most amazing guests live. So mark your calendar for 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you're sitting back having a snack. She's in Indiana. That's right. And we've got someone, I see Be Visible with Me. That's Melanie Richards, who will be our guest teacher next week. And the subject will be trust. We haven't touched that. And Mel is the exact right person for this conversation. We have the most amazing Meryl cast. Meryl, thank you for being the support for everybody every day, and the weekly carousel to make sure that we know all the valuable LinkedIn events. And you post some other ones too, so that we save time rather than jumping around to learn. It's all right here. The smartest people are here. And Meryl is in Paramus, New Jersey. What's the weather like up there? It's like 97 down here in North Carolina. Okay, so where are you? Of Deutschland. I see LinkedIn users. So when you respond, put in your name. I haven't done German in so long. Wir gehen's ins Kino. Musi den, zum Städtelettenhaus. Thank you for being here and getting my mind to retrieve some of the wonderful German that I learned and used when I was younger. So who are you? So happy to have you here. And Sharon Rose Winfield is here. Hello, calling in from Phoenix, Arizona. Always happy to have you. She is also a guest teacher here on Mind Over Matter Mondays. And we have Lisa Fevick, who on Tuesday afternoons, every other Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. She has a panel on the metamorphosis dialogues, which is if you're in menopause or any stage of it, or you have a partner or a relative, fantastic to join this every other week. Things I didn't know that were available. Lisa makes sure that, and she's a registered dietitian, she makes sure that we know which foods will help alleviate a lot of the symptoms and side effects of menopause. And look here, Leanna's here. Let's see what she says. Minnesota, I'm going to have to listen to the replay. Oh, no, but there's a baby mouse under my bed. Poor thing. Well, if you would teach him how to think differently and let him listen in, well, he will be listening in. Leanna is a wonderful photographer, but she's also an expert in the field of being a dietitian and working with people that have diabetes. Jen, so glad that you're here. Kimberly Lechnick is here. Nicole Angai Galindo is here. Nicole is the sponsor for my Friday show, 11 a.m., a very close friend. Now, this subject today, just keep on coming in. This is a really excellent subject, but let me just tell you a little bit about the mission and vision that I have for what we're doing here. You know, this all kind of starts grassroots, if you think about it, because at one time, a couple of years ago, I had one co-host and we would talk ourselves to death, right? And I'm very much about understanding that we're always learning and that we're not always ready to understand all concepts. But if we stick with it and we hear it multiple times, it will eventually become clear to us, and then we can take action. Until we're clear about something, we usually don't take any action. And as you know, dreams without action, are meaningless. So you got to be clear on certain things before you take that step. Yet at the same time, you want to have enough faith to take the step without knowing. So it is definitely a conundrum, right? It truly is. So I'm not going to take too much more time here. Yes, absolutely. Repetition is the first law of learning. And for those of you who study with me on Friday, you know that that's the fourth principle of success, auto-suggestion. Self-suggestion, positive or negative, intentional or by default, for positive or negative. This is how human beings learn, in spaced, repetitive intervals over time. And that consistency means more than almost anything else, because you can decide you're going to the gym, and if you've ever been to a gym in January, there's not a machine open for you, right? And you're tapping your foot, waiting, right? Because now you're going to be managing your health, right? And then by February, there are machines. You're not waiting as much. So the crowd begins to lose the inspiration. It didn't really want it that much right now. They really weren't ready. And it's the same thing about today's conversation about narcissism. We have known that there are narcissists. We know a few things about them. We can recognize certain things, absolutely. But the thing is once you realize it, what do you do then? How do you protect yourself or your family, right, about this kind of behavior? And so that's what we're going to get today from Linda. Linda Meier is our guest teacher, and I'll bring her up here in just a second. I'm so excited that she's here. Hey, 𝗚𝗂𝘁𝗁𝗏, I'm so happy you're here. And 𝗡𝗿𝗂𝗏𝗏. So Linda is going to share with us the basic things to be looking for and what to do. And so listen to what she says, and whatever resonates, embrace it. Now, she'll have a call to action. If you are ready now, and this narcissist in your life has been aggravating you forever, you want to take her up on her call to action, okay, which is to have an interview assessment with her. But if you're not ready, still connect with her. And when you are ready, remember who to go to, because this is an interview and an assessment. It's in depth. And so you want to be ready because you are being interviewed by Linda. So how cool is that? And Jason is here. Yes, yes, yes. Let me see who else is here. I leveled up some concepts today. There you go. And Sharon Rose is one of the teachers. So I really hope that we get to have you do this. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue on now. Hi, Rob Unger. So glad that you're here. Keep in mind, everybody, that after this, Sean Michael has a wonderful Monday Mind Shift live, and you can continue your studies with him. He knows you might be a minute or two late. 𝗡𝗿𝗄𝗏𝗏, Thursdays at 1:12 p.m. Eastern. She's all about leadership and confidence, amazing teacher. And I think that's about everybody we've got here. Now, quickly, what I want you to know about the mission and vision here of Mind Over Matter Mondays, and I was beginning to tell you this, that it was first me and someone else. and praise to all the people that stuck with me as long as they did, including Nicole Algai, Linda, Paulette Hollum, Kimberly Lechnick. Then I decided, okay, well, we're all learning through repetition and we're all growing in awareness and we all explain these things differently, but some sort of the same. But those explanations evolve as we evolve. I thought, well, why don't we just bring in people who want to begin teaching or who are already teachers so that you, the audience, will get the information at a higher level of awareness and you'll have more light bulb moments. Oh, finally, I get it. Oh, that's what they've meant. I've heard this for years. That's a very natural process. Then, if and when you are ready to work with a professional, you already have a resonance with one of our guest teachers. Okay. And so for the guest teachers, and for anybody who's listening here, I have opened up a 5-week class where I will hold your hand and teach you everything about live to get out of the gate. I will be your manager for 5 weeks. I'll take you into the studio. I'll set up your program. I'll teach you everything you need to know in about an hour, recorded, with some guidance, and then I will be in the studio with you for 3 weeks, managing all the technical things, reminding you of all those things so you can focus on your content. And there are other people who do a deeper dive than this, but this is enough to get you into the live event, and we'll set up a call to action, which is kind of a light funnel. So if that's something you want, I've offered that to the guest teachers because we've already had one person do that, and that's Dr. Melissa Robinson Weinmiller. I mean, 3 lives and she was on her way. So I'm not interested in a long relationship. I'm interested in having more smart people developing content and teaching on LinkedIn so that we save time by studying right here. Okay. So now you know what the purpose is. And now that Linda's probably back there enjoying a mimosa with the pool boys. No, she's not. Let me bring her up. Let me fix this first and bring up the dear Linda Meier. There she is. And let me see if I can.
Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Linda. So glad that you're here. Oh my gosh. So happy that you're here today. How are you this morning?
I'm well. Thank you so much, Leslie, for inviting me to your show. This is going to be really, really fun and eye-opening.
Isn't this your first, is this your first where you are the guest and you're the teacher on live, or have you done this before?
Oh, of course, I have. I've done other lives, yeah.
Thank you. Good. Okay. Okay. Good. Well, it's the first one with Mind Over Matter Mondays. And let me tell you, we have never touched this subject before. So I can't tell you how excited I am about it. Now, for those of you who don't know Linda, I mean, you can find her on LinkedIn, right? Linda Meier, Meier. She's actually a healing and recovery coach, and she gently supports the survivors of narcissistic and emotional abuse as they begin to find their way back to themselves. She opens a compassionate space to build self-trust. You need to connect with Melanie, understand the patterns, the painful patterns, soften your own self-doubt, and reconnect with the voice of identity that were quieted along the way. So, Linda, let me ask you something to come right out of the gate here. Of all the forms of emotional pain, before we get into your teaching, what was it that led you to devote your work specifically to helping survivors of narcissistic abuse?
Thank you, Leslie. That's a really good question. And that's the question. The answer is what led me to bring this on for myself with my healing. And the answer, one of the forms is that we experience the loss of identity. We lose who we are as our own individual being. The survivor, all survivors, everyone who comes into contact with a narcissist in some way, they come out affected and changed, and it's lifelong. The
Linda,
closer you are to the center, yes. So it's the loss of
are you
identity.
are you a survivor?
I am. I
So
was
you're
raised.
speaking about yourself, and would you
Yes.
say that your own experience was significant enough to have you focus on this particular area?
Yes, I needed to understand what happened to me, why. I needed to understand why my parent was this way. And I wanted to understand what happened to my family, because we were all affected differently, but the symptoms and the behavior, it's all the same. No matter what role you were given, we will discuss that a bit later.
Mhm.
But everyone has been affected, and I wanted to delve. I needed to understand why I was this way and what I could do to take action, like you mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
to heal
And
to
you've
return
really
to myself. Yeah.
you've really helped me a lot, because I don't know about everybody else here, but have you ever wondered if somebody, you could put this in the comments, have you ever known someone who you pretty sure was a narcissist, but you didn't really know enough about it, but you were in this loop, like you never could ever really win with them? That was kind of the experience I got, no matter what I do. And maybe that's part of the loss of identity. And I don't want to go down that road necessarily. But what I wanted to know was, it was obviously critical enough in your life. What is it like when you work with someone and they get the light bulb moment and they see the pattern?
It's life changing. It really is. There's a release of heaviness. There's a release of emotional shame and responsibility that is so heavy that we've carried for decades. And it affects the mind, the emotions, and the body itself. It affects our breathing, our sleep, our insomnia, the way we treat others. There's other physical ailments as well, gastrointestinal.
Mhm.
Mostly it's the weight, the responsibility of keeping others happy, comfortable, and regulated, emotionally regulated, at the expense of at the expense of us disappearing, and we take on a physical role. We're no longer ourselves, and it's a deep conditioning. And we can discuss that a bit later.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you for that. And thank you for being vulnerable and letting people know, that as you were describing it, I thought to myself, you must have experienced this same thing, right? And it actually sounds different when you speak from your own experience, right? And I also love that you've had the experience of working with people who have had the breakthrough, who see the patterns. And for me, it was, decades too late, but it's not really too late, because I made some boundaries and felt very guilty about it because it's a family member. But my life has been so much better. So, I mean, I just can't tell you how disruptive a narcissist. Well, I could tell you. So let's. So I want to show everybody something. Okay, I got a little surprise for Linda. Linda, she cooks, and she's up in Toronto, and I made this little surprise for her.
Ottawa. So this is a family vacation.
Hang on. Just wait a second. Okay. All right. So now let me do this. Hang on one second. Okay. Now let's do this. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Goodness gracious. From the beginning to here. Okay, there we go. And let's see if I can get this. Okay, so now tell us what we're looking at as we go.
Oh, this was a family vacation.
You have to talk fast.
Okay, my two oldest graduating. This is Christmas with my daughter, Christina.
Who's that man?
That's my husband, John, having a nice walk in the cold. That's me at the station, having a little quick break. There was no time for lunch, actually. You're cooking
and
for
what
others.
Is that? What is that? Looks like a dessert.
It was a Danish.
I knew it was a dessert.
It's house-based, house-made, and it's absolutely delicious. We have them too frequently. Station behind me with all my tools and gadgets. My daughter Christina at Christmas. She's my oldest. She came to Ottawa to visit, and this is on her way to Halifax. This is me trying out the selfie, and this is in Halifax, East Coast. We had fresh lobster. We saw the ocean. We went on a huge sailboat. We loved it. Fun. That's the whole family there. I was taking a picture. Yeah.
Fabulous. All right, Linda, let's get into the topic for today. All right. Now, we named it The Narcissist Next Door because sometimes you have it in your family, but you may notice it next door first. So let me check here. If you have any questions, I'm going to do this tall and bring in the comments. So all you have to do is put a Q and a colon, and I'll do my best to keep up with everybody. And let me make sure we've got everything. Yay, it's so good to see you all. You love the photos, aren't they sweet? Part of the reason that I started to do that is because we know Linda. We know her on LinkedIn. But again, as you get to know the guest teachers and their area of expertise, there'll be certain things that you'll see here that will resonate with you. It's not unlike what happens when you go to buy a car, right? Like, so Christmas time and a couple times of the year, I don't know how they do it, but they began pummeling you on TV with car dealerships, right? Get the Ford, get the Chevy, get the Mercedes-Benz, the BMW. Now, look, we don't buy every month or even every year, but we do develop a resonance with whichever advert we like the best, so that we may have already decided in advance when we're ready to buy a car that we're buying the Chevrolet instead of the Ford because of the repetition. And so, you know, this is the same kind of thing here. Now, why did I brought that up for a very particular reason? Just a second. Right. So that's why the guest teachers come in at their levels of awareness, and they come back. And they usually stay close to their original concept. Many of the teachers are just starting with their basic points, and many have been doing it for years, and we work it down to the basic points here. So I spend an hour each week with the Mind Over Matter Monday speaker so that we understand exactly what is going to be presented and that we'll get as much out of it as possible. So, okay, so Linda, let's start. Okay, tell us, where does it all begin, please? And everybody ask questions. Be thinking about who in your life might be a narcissist. Okay, my friend, please.
We need to start at the beginning, absolutely. Many times, often, it does begin, narcissism becomes poignant in the childhood, during the childhood, at a young age. So the child has a chip here. It didn't click, it didn't mature, it didn't develop. And what made it not develop is that they may have received inconsistent parenting. It affected how they viewed themselves. They were not able to be okay with inconsistent parenting. Most of us, when we're younger, we have all our needs met, and we need that, we appreciate it, we need it for our survival. And then we continue. For the narcissistic child, he doesn't have a label yet, he's just developing into this behavior. It's a personality disorder made to cover up and to hide the broken child. And so what I'm saying and connecting all the dots is that when they received inconsistent behavior, inconsistent attention, they viewed themselves as unlovable. There must be something wrong with them because mom said no. I asked for something and mommy said no.
But
and
Linda,
so they can't handle the pain.
Okay, so what are they hearing? Because mommy says no all the time. I mean, mommy is going to say no. This, just give us a sense of what is being repeated within earshot and directly to the child consistently that bruises their identity. What would we hear as children?
The children learns that they are unlovable. They feel abandoned. So the message is, I'm not good enough. I expect the entitlement of being cared for and pampered and having all of my needs met. And so because this didn't click, the brain, the maturity is stalled. You can't restart it. And so it's all tied to this. And they feel abandoned. They feel unlovable. They carry the shame of not being loved.
Right.
So
I get that.
it's the repetitive message of inconsistency. So
what are the parents doing or not doing to plant that seed? Is it leaving them alone? Is it when they've been hurt and they're crying and nobody nurtures them? What physical and emotional things are occurring? I get the outcome, right? I get the impact. There's no doubt about that. But what would we be looking for? Let's just say next door, there's a little kid. And there's a certain kind of behavior, maybe the child fell and nobody paid attention. I'm trying to get around what is it that is missing for these children that we might be able to recognize?
Yeah, it's all of the above that you mentioned. It's inconsistent. Sometimes they were looked after, other times they were not. And so they did receive kisses, they did receive the boo-boo, but the pain may not have been acknowledged.
Plus it's inconsistent, right? Plus also it's not a consistent nurturing.
Yes, a consistent nurturing, consistent.
That's what I was trying to go for. Okay, what else about this? It begins there.
Yeah, and as a result, because of the inconsistent parenting, nurturing, attention, when they didn't receive it, they carried the guilt and the shame. They failed to recognize that the others were maybe busy, preoccupied, and so the punishment comes out later. The child grows up punishing those who have their own identity, who have the time to attend to themselves, not to them. So it grows up that way. So that's how they carry it through in life.
So let me ask you a question about this. Sorry for interrupting you. I'm not
ahead.
Really sorry. I just can't help it because it's such a juicy topic.
It is.
It's really, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, poo. well, it doesn't matter. What
It's the
matters here
inconsistent
is
parenting. Yeah. How do we
that
recognize it?
that's right. So could you say that when we get receive, and then we'll move on, when we receive that inconsistent nurturing, as an example, sometimes you're loved when you're hurt, sometimes you're not. What am I supposed to think? Well, I better take care of myself or get someone else to care about me since I'm not getting that need. The question here is, how then do we is the child with that confused identity making it mean that they're unloved? In other words, they're translating this intermittent nurturing into making it mean something, which is a fear, is like, I'm not enough. I don't deserve enough. I am not getting the attention I want. And so we make it mean that there's something wrong with us. Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely. The narcissist sees you and themselves and the world through their lens only, because this didn't click. And this is the beginning, and this is the start, and they continue to carry that. So they view the world through their lens only. They can't accept or appreciate that others have their own needs too. You're busy, you're preoccupied, you're ill, you can't look after me right now. But they fail to recognize that it's all about them. They see, yeah, so something didn't click, something did not, they were not able to connect the dots and say to themselves, okay, I fell, I got my quick Band-Aid, I got a quick pat on the shoulder, and then mommy left, and I will be okay. Mommy left too quickly. That's just one example for a child.
I got it. So it's consistency that's missing. And hey, 𝗚𝗁𝗍𝗍𝗏 is here from California. Inconsistent response to their emotional needs, right? And then Kimberly asked, and I think we've got this, but let's make sure. Oh my goodness gracious! Hey, 𝗃𝗱𝗏𝗍𝗏𝗏, how are you doing? Where is Kimberly? Okay, well, that was Nicole. Just 1 second. Kimberly asked a question here, and this darn. Okay, here we go. I think this is it. Isn't it? Sorry to put this in front of your face. Isn't this more about the child's emotional needs not being met? They are not having adequate opportunities for vulnerability. That's a great question. Would you agree with that? I would too.
Absolutely. It's the inconsistency, which we've all experienced. We understand that we're not, there comes a point where the child needs to mature and understand that life will be okay for them afterwards. But for some children, they never understood that, and they were not able to accept it. So it is the point of not receiving consistent emotional needs, which I didn't receive, but I did not grow up to become a narcissist. I was able to recognize it. So it's not that every child who grows up with inconsistent love and nurturing grows up to be a narcissist. It depends on how you were raised. It depends on what role you were given from that parent. So there's a generational cycle. But going back to what my mother experienced and how she raised us, she was not able to recognize that my grandmother was not always attentive to her and that she will be okay regardless. So there's something in here that didn't mature. They were not able to recognize all of these inconsistent factors that are around them. Mm-hmm. Most of us understand. I'm still loved no matter what. I did not receive consistent parenting. I did not receive consistent love. I did not feel loved and appreciated. But because of the role that I was given growing up, that was erased. But I did not grow up a narcissist. I was the scapegoat. So we can discuss that a bit later.
Right. Let me ask you this question from Barb. Hey, Barb Ostapine, I haven't seen you in a while. So good to see you. That sounds like people are born with narcissism. And then you can address that, which causes them to misinterpret actions affecting them. Is that what you mean? So is the child doomed?
It's a personality disorder based on how they view themselves and the world.
So they're not born with it then?
It's no, they create this barrier to hide. No, something here didn't click. They're not born with it. It didn't mature.
And it didn't click or mature because it didn't have enough of the repetitive nurturing in consistent intervals for that click to occur. Is that a fair assessment of what's happening? So it didn't happen, yes. But you don't get born into narcissism. You know, you're born tabula rasa with a clean slate, but then there's things that your parents do or don't do with consistency over time that fail to allow the click.
Exactly.
That's kind of what it sounds like. Okay, let me see what else is here because we want to take a break here in just a second. This is so good. And I'm just, okay, hold on a second here. Let me see. William Rochelle says, interesting conversation. The real narcissist is something you can't explain because it's not obvious at first. Exactly. But boy, once you understand, and that's what I'm looking forward to, then you get it. You get it. And that's, how it was actually with my brother. Let's see. Nicole says, is it possible to take proactive measures through external observation? So that's where she wants to go is, okay, and we'll do this on the last point, but once we know what to look for, then there are certain things we can say, there are certain things we can do, and we'll get to that, but you've got to recognize it first.
Yes.
And I'll just give you a quick example of my own, my brother, if that's okay, really quickly. I just want to say, so my brother, the second child, lived in the shadow of my father, who was a genius. So he could never perform up to snuff. And he would be, there's a couple of words in Yiddish that we would use when father would mitcha or bother my brother and stand over him when they were learning to play chess or checkers and demean him constantly. He evolved as the narcissist in the family, that either he was the victim or he was going to make me the victim. Right? And the thing is you keep trying because it's a family member, but there'd be these huge blow-ups and everybody would cut ties and then they would beg to come back and then he would suck us back in, promise never to do this again. But because the click wasn't hit, he couldn't even keep his promise. So it took decades until finally the straw that broke the camel's back. And I literally said, we're done. Now, you told me that the thing the narcissist hates the most is being ignored. Well, my brother has had 2 years now of everybody ignoring him. So it must be driving him nuts. Yeah. All right, so let's take a quick break here, and let me extend gratitude to the 2350 Network, an off LinkedIn platform of personal development, business, and professional development. And I'm going to show you something right here from them. Here we go. All right, it's supposed to play. I'm telling you, it's supposed to play. Let me just try to get this on. I don't know what the deal is here. Oh, wait.
7 days a week for members.
So join us at the 2350 Network. To become a member, visit 2350network.com.
We'll see you soon. Is Damian Kinsey here?
And Dr. Tanya Farron here, co-founders of the 2350 Network.
The 2350 Network is a place where professionals can gather.
2350 Network members meet to discuss leadership, attend Think Tank Thursdays, participate in book club, socialize, and connect with other professionals.
Our virtual interactive campus, just like the one you see here, is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for members.
So join us at the 2350 Network. To become a member, visit 2350network.com.
We'll see you soon.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love the 2350 Network. And now we're going to see just a moment here from the Power Thinking Corporation. And Power Thinking Corp is a cognitive business development platform that's now available on your iPhone. And there are special freebies and samples for you to get daily tips, to watch live videos, to communicate inside with other members. And everything is right there on your phone. You can go to any app store and you'll be able to download it. Look for the P with all the sunshine there. All right, so let's go on here. Oops. There we go. All right, we're back. Let's get back to where are the big ones? Here we go. Here we go. All right, so now we need to talk about, we got 15 minutes left, how the roles keep the narcissist in control, okay? And what are the roles? And then what are the patterns that survivors often miss? And then we'll look at how hope can keep us tied together. So take it away, Linda. Give us the down and dirty, if you will, on how roles keep the narcissist in control.
Roles are assigned to us if you're a child growing up in a narcissistic environment, family. Each child is given a role to please and comfort the parent. The parent needs something from each child because they can't give that to themselves. They never learned how. And I want to go back to, there's a comment here from Kimberly. In order to, or youngest, to develop empathy, it needs to be modeled. But even a narcissistic child who did receive a lot of love and attention and nurturing, because of what they have here, because it didn't click, they fail to recognize that other people matter. So they grow up being a narcissist anyway, and they're jealous and vindictive, and they have low self-worth, and so they fail to show empathy anyway because they see themselves as better than. And so each child is given a role. Going back to that family, there's the golden child, the one who can do no wrong. They're absolutely amazing. Everything they touch turns to gold. They're so smart at school. They're the best. And if they happen to make a mistake, it's excused, it's dismissed, it's laughed off. There's a story behind it. He was busy, he was stressed. Oh, and the story becomes a novel, that the whole excuse becomes a novel to excuse that child. And so the golden child, eventually they become the next narcissist in their family. And so the golden child.
Well, let's move on from the golden. In the interest of time, I want you to get to the other roles so we can get to the other points, if you would.
If there are more children in the family, the other may be the scapegoat or the flying monkey. And so the scapegoat is the truth teller. Yeah, I know it's a funny expression, but there's a meaning for that. So the truth teller, the one who sees through the games, the one who sees through the smoke, the manipulation, they can't label it. They don't know what it's called, but they see the inconsistency. They're able to see, hey, mom gets upset every time I do this, but she doesn't get angry with anyone else. When I ask for questions, when I ask for clarity, I'm dismissed. I'm shut up. I am challenged. I am dismissed. I am made to feel guilty for daring to ask a question. Mom is supposed to be perfect. And so the scapegoat was me. I saw the inconsistencies and I saw the mistreatment. I saw the entitlement. I saw the unfairness. And I spoke up. I said, hey, what's going on here? In my little girl voice. I didn't have the exact language, but I spoke up. And my mother did not like to be challenged because they love confusion. They don't want clarity. And so the flying monkey is, again, and all of these roles, they're interchangeable. The scapegoat can become the golden child, and it all depends on the narcissist's mood in the moment.
This must be very confusing for the children of a narcissist, because if you don't know what role you're playing, or one day you play this role and then another day you play the other role, it's like the Buddhist monk who says, if you sit there, I'll hit you. And if you get up, I'll hit you. Now sit there.
That's part of the game, to keep you confused, to keep you engaged for earning your worth and for earning love.
Got it. That's
so
awesome.
You are used as the one who you are used as the one who regulates the narcissist. We have to do what we can to keep them happy because they can't do it themselves. And then very quickly, the flying monkey, that is the one who believes all the stories, they believe all the lies, and they do the narcissist's dirty work.
Got it.
They spread the lies, they spread the rumors, and they attack the sibling. And because they know what happens if they don't. We all know what happens if we don't play our role.
Got it.
The golden child has to continue to perform, or else, because he knows what happens to the others when they misbehave. And so I learned to stay quiet. I learned to carry that heavy unfairness. And
that's really hard for a truth teller, isn't it?
It came out as anger and rage, let me tell you.
Okay, can we move on?
Juicy conversation. Yeah. And then the next
Let's
question
go to the
was
repeated patterns.
Yeah.
Survivors often miss. So what would be some of the patterns that we could recognize, like in our neighbor or in our family? What are the patterns we're looking for? We're looking for arguments and fights. When you say, what are we looking for? How can we tell when a narcissist has invaded the room?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's all through their behavior, and it's a set of patterns. It's not just a one-off. We all have that moment when we feel deeply disappointed that we didn't get that job, we didn't get the promotion, we didn't win a prize at a party, and we're upset and we're venting, and we carry that deep hurt for the rest of the day. The narcissist really cannot accept rejection, criticism, jealousy. They don't know how to regulate their emotions. And so when, let's say you're at work and one of your colleagues is a narcissist, you don't know it, but you see their behavior. And you recognize it because they can't celebrate your wins. They set you up for failure. You are in a position that they want. And so they lie about you. They spread smear campaigns. And then when you finally hear about it, because they're always 10 steps ahead of you. By the time you hear this rumor, it's been spreading for a long time before you become aware of it. And for an example, when you do become aware of it, you're upset and you're shocked because you thought this buddy was your friend at work. So you approach them and they deny. They say, oh, that's not true. I was just repeating what I heard the others say. So they fail to acknowledge that they're the ones that they actually started. They may say something like, you're dreaming. That's not true at all. That gossip, that was about someone else, but someone else changed the story and they put your name in instead of someone else. They were discussing someone else. So there's dismissal. And then and if you persist, then they feel attacked. Mm-hmm. They attack you in return. They don't want to be questioned or challenged. So these are the pop-ups that come up. And it's a pattern. And you see them do it with you. You see them do it with others. And they lie a lot.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question about gossip. Is it fair to say, because, women, really my experience with women over the last 30 years is that women gossip more than men, but men also gossip. I have discovered that. Is that a sign of a narcissist necessarily, or no?
No, not at all. Okay. We all do it to some degree.
Okay.
Very few will, because that's only one of the behaviors in that whole set of patterns. There has to be other behaviors that are visible, because the narcissist, let me just go back and explain. The narcissist, when you're finished speaking with a narcissist, you feel emotionally drained and confused. You end up feeling hollow. And I saw that in a comment earlier. Yeah. You do end up feeling manipulated, fooled. You start talking about you have a conversation with a narcissist, and suddenly the focus shifts to them and they talk about themselves. And you're left holding the ball. And I was just talking about this. And now that doesn't mean interrupting. That's we do that. Not you, Leslie. I love you, but you'll see.
Well, I'm interrupting you a lot because we have limited time, and I need to anyway.
Yes. You end up feeling empty afterwards, and you're dismissed. And it's a deep feeling that you recognize because it happens again and again and again. And so you don't have these kind of conversations with your other colleagues, only this one. And in the story that they're sharing with you, they're either the hero or the victim, because they're looking for your energy. They're looking for your compliments or your praise, or they're looking for your pity. So whether they're the hero, they want you to say, oh, wow, awesome, wow. Or victim, oh, I'm so sorry for you. Oh, my gosh. They love that attention. They never got it. So they're willing to do anything to get those two reactions from everyone.
That is excellent.
Thank you. No. And it shows up as anger and arguments, and they love that negative energy. It makes them feel visible and significant.
Yes. So okay, so how can hope keep us tied to the cycle? What is it that we can do when we recognize this? What is the first thing we would do? Kimberly wants to know why is that, but we can't do that here now. Go back into the comments if you would, Linda, and respond. Also, hey, 𝗚𝗁𝗏, how would you guys like to have her back to continue a more in-depth conversation, less pictures of her beauty and more content? Let me know if you would like to have Linda back on this subject. I think it would be fabulous. So what is it we can do? We recognize it. We're pretty sure we're seeing the pattern, and to err on the side of being fair, what might you do when you see this occurring or you're part of it, what would you do?
Let's say you're sharing a story of a struggle or a difficulty with the narcissist, and they dismiss it. They shut you down, and they say things like, "Oh, that's not a big deal. You have nothing to complain about. I've experienced worse." And then they take over the conversation. So they're looking for a reaction from you. They're looking for anger. Remain silent. Say what you need to. Repeat it once. And you tell them, well, I don't need you to acknowledge my pain to make it real. It did happen to me. And then you acknowledge them as well. You say, I know that you've experienced something that was similar, and you know the pain that I've experienced, that I'm speaking about. Let's just leave it like that. We've both experienced something, and don't say, I'm not competing for your attention, because that's the beneath message. Don't say it out loud. They'll feel offended. So you acknowledge you and you acknowledge them. That's one example. So another example, when they bring you into an argument, they want a reaction. They're not looking for clarity of facts. They're looking for emotional engagement. Share very little. Give short answers. Remain emotionless. They're looking to poke and provoke you, because it's all about attention. It's all about them. Whatever issue, whatever discussion you're having, they can't meet you where you are. They're using you as a tool to fill up their emotional emptiness.
Got it.
And so remain calm. You can blow up later. You can cry later. Go into the washroom, wash your hands, take a moment and acknowledge, oh, that was frustrating. She does this all the time. Acknowledge it. Feel the feelings, but don't show it to them, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for some kind of emotional engagement, whether it's positive or negative. And that's how we control our energy, and we don't play the game. We don't get pulled into their game. They're not able to have a meaningful conversation with us. You have to look elsewhere for that. You can still engage with them at work and discuss, but protect your energy, because you recognize what the end result is supposed to look like.
That's right.
That's how we protect ourselves.
That's Linda. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all this. And I want you to, everyone, we're going to have Linda back, if she will grace us next quarter for sure.
Thank you.
And so what I want to share with you is that Linda does a 45-minute interview assessment. If you are ready, now that doesn't necessarily mean that, that you go because it would be a fun thing to do. Actually, she's going to interview you. So if you've had a narcissist in your life and you're ready to do something about it, go ahead and use this QR code. There's also a link to book her in Calendly, and she'll do the assessment with you when you're ready. Okay, because it's an intensive assessment, but it means that you're ready to really identify the narcissist, whether it's you or somebody else. And I don't know that it would be you. I don't know that narcissists raise their hand and say, I'm really screwed up. Help me. Right. Because they think that they're God, right? They think that they're the best at everything. But if you really are ready to do that, maybe this is a Q3 goal for you, right? It could be. So check this. Linda will put the link into her Calendly. And so I want to take this off, and I want to ask you, Linda, what is the one last thing that you would, first of all, let me just tell you how grateful I am that you finally were able to do this, that there is so much more. And I recommend that people read your newsletter, sign up for Linda's newsletter. Make sure that you're at least following her, because she publishes what 3, 4, 5 times a week things that fit into this. So she's really quickly becoming a master in recognizing this. And I also want to share with you that there's a book coming out the first week of July called The Mask by Dr. Steve Hudgens. And I have had the privilege of line editing his book and his last book. And let me tell you, this is all in there, right? I mean, I feel like I told him I think I need an honorary degree in psychology after those 2 books, right? But I mean, I wish I had known this 100 years ago. So what is if there's one thing, Linda, that you would tell us, one thing that you want us to remember as we go out into our week and as we absorb this information about narcissism, what's one thing that you would say, hey, when you're going out and doing this, this is what I recommend now that this is on your radar, please?
The one thing that I recommend your viewers, I will put it into 2 points because they're both quickly related.
Okay.
The healing that comes through the coaching and the talking and the awareness, it separates our pain from our identity. We were given a role to carry. Unbeknownst to us, we carried it, we projected it, and it affected us in many facets of our life. At school, with friends, at work, in our relationships. Recognizing that is part of the healing, and we are not who the narcissist made us become. And the other is that you were given a role, not your identity. The narcissist needed you to carry the role for their benefit. So you are not a bad person. You are not incompetent. You are not a troublemaker. You are good in your own being, on your own 2 feet. You exist. You have needs. You have boundaries. All of these things needed to be removed so that you could not shine brighter than the narcissist. They needed you to be their shadow. And so the healing separates the 2, and then the message is healing is possible at any age. I'm doing it now, and I have done it now. Unbeknownst to me, every step that I've taken is 1 step closer to me becoming my own person. Excellent. And so that's the basic message. Healing is possible, and you can regain your self-worth and your identity. And that is the best revenge. Live your own life. Be you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see your name on the roster again. And it would I'm so happy that you did this today, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hang out in the studio. I'll be there in just a minute, okay?
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Let's see here. We're a little over. So, okay, next week we have the amazing and most wonderful Melanie Richards, who is going to be talking about trust. That's her specialty, and I'm really excited about that. Be sure that you check in with Linda Meier. Also, have the assessment with her if and when you're ready. If you're not ready yet, connect with her and start following her and reading her newsletter. And then on Friday at 11 a.m., I'm excited to share with you that we're going to be looking at the 6 basic fears, really getting into what is it that stops us from doing the things we want to do. They are our fears. And once you get clear, as Linda pointed out, you can take action. But if you're confused about it, you don't really know what to do. Now you know what to do when you are face to face with a narcissist. Say nothing or walk away, pretty much. Just don't get into the fray with them. It's very easy to be drawn in, right? So with that, my friends, I am excited to share with you that this is the 22nd of June, that I am loved and appreciated, and so are you. You make my week every week by being here, and my intention is that you continue learning step by step with a breakthrough each week. And also, I want us all, if we believe, to send a sweet wish to the recovery of our own 𝗵𝗂 𝗲𝗵𝘆𝘀, who today donated a kidney to a man who wouldn't live without it. So this is an amazing community, and I am so grateful. So watch the outro, which was done by Soul Media Live Productions and Aaron Gibson, as we venture into our week. And let me get to the right place here. Yep. And you guys, if you know where I am, if you need me, lots of people on vacation this summer. Some of the live events won't show exactly when. We're doing our best to keep you up to date. Meryl and I are, and Christy D. Have a great week, everybody.